Good morning to people around the other side of the world, and good afternoon and good evening to everyone. I got inspired by, I think, I'll share this quick story, by Sean Stevenson. He had talked about how his purpose was to rid the world of insecurity. Because when we're insecure, we do foolish, stupid, angry, hurtful things. And that's part of the inspiration for this idea, breaking up with fear. To break up with some fear in your life so you have more freedom, so you act with more from your heart and can connect better with the people in your life that you care about. And I'm so blessed to be here with Vanessa Elle Wilde. And she has The Wild Show, which I highly recommend, especially during this crisis, to laugh at your fear, to laugh in general, to boost your immune system. And share a little bit about your background, and then I want to hear the fear that you broke up with that involved improv, which is a passion of my life too.
Yeah, thanks for having me and chatting with me this morning. I keep thinking it's morning, but it's not. It's because I woke up really late today. I teach improv for personal and professional development. I use improv as a way to help people break through and grow and overcome their own fears, shift their mindset to become more accepting and not being so afraid to be seen and heard. Having that visibility in today's world is super important. And all the work I do is about helping women in particular be comfortable with visibility, speaking up for themselves, sharing their messages, and just in general being more of who they truly, truly are.
I love that. I think if we could all be a little more of who we truly, truly are, I think without these crappy programs we've been given and other things, you're going to feel so much freer. So I'm excited to hear. So what is the fear, Vanessa, that you broke up with, that improv helped you break up with?
Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
I grew up in a culture that was very much about not being seen and not being heard. In fact, as a woman, it was like, cover your face, cover your body, shut your mouth, serve. This isn't about you. Everything about you is wrong. And naturally, that's not who I am. I'm very much like I like to be the center of attention. I like to ham it up, loud and playful and have fun with people. I'm very social. And so that really created a lot of conflict. And I didn't realize that it had an impact, or I didn't know how it impacted me until in my early 40s, I started getting really sick. I was really unhappy. I didn't feel heard. I didn't really feel seen, but I didn't know how to break through that. And it felt lofty for me to even do anything that I wanted to do. It felt lofty to be an artist, to be a writer, to be an actress, to want to have a show. And I just kept pushing all that stuff down.
So it was like your dreams were almost let go of?
Yeah, I don't know if it was let go of as much as I didn't know how. I kept pushing them away. It was, that's an interesting question. I wasn't connected to them. I felt like they were wrong and bad. Again, part of my conditioning was to think that what I wanted was bad also. So the idea of being successful was bad, which I didn't know all of this. I've had to do a lot of uncovering, of course.
Well, that's another story that we'll talk about at another time.
Yeah,
so the mystery put out to you guys. So Vanessa has a story why that felt bad to her. But let's go into your breaking up with fear story.
Yeah. So the way I broke up with my fear, you guys, honestly, is joining an improv class. And this was 8 years ago now, in 2013. 7 years ago. So I joined an improv class because I really wanted to find a way to just express myself and have fun. I was really scared at first. I didn't feel like I fit in. All these people seemed really funny and cool and interesting. And I was just I felt like a mess. And I was really afraid to say anything that wouldn't be funny or that wouldn't be, cheeky or smart. And Chris, we took an improv class together. Jackie changed my life.
Jackie changed mine too.
I went to her one day.
Hello, Jackie Lowell.
Hi, Jackie Lowell.
And thank you.
Yeah. So Jackie basically, she took me aside one day because I had confessed that I'm not funny and I don't get this and I don't know what I'm doing. And she literally told me, Vanessa, dare to suck. And to me, that was revolutionary. And it gave me permission to suck and to not be funny and to not be cute and to not be smart and to not be cool and to not fit in. And lo and behold, it was the one place that I found the deepest sense of belonging I'd ever felt in my life was in my improv class.
Mm.
And so over time, it just helped me overcome my fear of being seen and heard, looking foolish, feeling like a dum-dum. And you know me, like I'm not a grumpy cat, but all the adulting I was doing was turning me into like a grumpy cat. Yeah, I call them grump ups. I was becoming a grump up, the thing I never wanted to be in my life. And improv just helped me break through so many different layers of BS and conditioning. And I do it today because it helps me stay on track. It helps me every time I feel afraid or tight, I'm like, oh, I need an improv class. I need to get out of this comfort zone, the fear zone. I need to get the heck out of this right now. So I go do something silly or playful. So
that's powerful. And improv had an incredible impact on my life as well. I didn't take Dare to Suck as well as you did at that moment, but because I am like, we're live right now, and Vanessa actually just taught me how to take it live. Just
literally 5 minutes ago.
Minutes ago. And normally I would have gone, no, we got to figure out, we got to do a practice session first. And that's due to improv as well, that I said, yeah, let's just do it. Yeah. And it's a dropping of fear to be able to go live and be able to be on camera as well for me. And improv really led into that.
So what happened for you when Jackie said Dare to Suck? What was your reaction?
So I share this.
I'm going to share this. I know the answer to this, by the way.
I've shared this all over North America to various training events I've been to when I'm speaking and training. And when she said Dare to Suck, I was hoping I had misheard her almost. It's got to be something different than this, because my reaction was, no, that can't be it. No, thank you. I've been avoiding sucking my entire life. Please let it be something else. Because I don't want to dare to suck. I want to dare to be great or funny or awesome, because I had such a negative voice in here that I was vicious to myself. So I couldn't dare to suck. I couldn't dare to look foolish. And that's playing with Jackie over and over again. And one of the positive things Jackie said to me, and I will always remember as I'm sitting in my chair, not getting up to participate, is, what are you saying to yourself? And there was a voice in my head that wasn't so powerful. And it said crazy things like, you're going to fail, you're going to get rejected, and you're going to die.
Jackie she's like our improv Yoda, we call her.
Oh, because, I do.
Right? We're like in this fun class and we're talking about all kinds of weird stuff and laughing our heads off. But I have to tell you, it was like one of the deepest personal development experiences I've had is through my improv classes and the connections with other people in the class. It was endless. So, I mean, you and I have done trainings all over together and all kinds of fun stuff. And it only gets better. The more we both release fear and we help our clients and people in our communities, overcome fear. I just see everyone who experiences this blossoms in some really cool way.
Yeah, for me, improv was incredible to get up over and over again and actually see when I failed what I thought in here was the worst failure I've ever done. People would laugh and have fun, and my partner in improv or partners would pick it up and make that failure turn into something beautiful. Yeah. And that happened so many times that it changed me. It changed some of the programming in here, and I became less fearful about looking foolish.
I'm trying to think, like, if there's a specific thing that I overcame, if there was a specific scenario. There's just been so many funny times, but that really helped propel it. But I remember watching you guys tell stories in Jackie's class. And I forget the game, but you'd tell a story and we'd build on the story, and I'd have to like contribute to the story part. And I just thought you guys were so funny and so awesome. It was Bruce, you, Win, I forget all the other folks. And we had a lot of great folks.
Annie, John.
Yeah.
So many more. Yeah.
Oh, so many fun people. And I just thought you guys were so funny. And like, how can I compete? And I'll tell you one thing, Chris, one of the things that really tripped me up was the thought of, how do I compete with this? And that right there, when Jackie said dare to suck, that's where that competitiveness with my teammates went away.
Mm.
And once I wasn't competing with you guys or trying to be as funny as anyone else in the class, it opened up the space for me to find my own version of funny, or just like whatever I wanted to say. And it always turned out so fun.
Why did dare to suck, those particular words, why did they cause you to drop some of this competitiveness?
I think because I was always afraid. I like doing things really well, and I like doing things beautifully and captivatingly, and I want them to have an impact. And I didn't even know I was thinking that
Is that true
consciously.
for any of you out there? Because
I
those are
know.
all true for me. I want all those things too. I want to do them beautifully, have impact, have value. So yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to be great at whatever I'm doing. And I didn't really know that that program was running until I got to Jackie's class. And when she said dare to suck, I was literally, because I trust her also, right? I really trusted and still do trust her. I was like, oh, it's okay to not get this right or be funny. It's okay to say something stupid. And something about that was really powerful for me. I was like so grateful. Because I want to say a lot of things all the time, as you know, like I'm a chatterbox and I have a million thoughts and ideas and opinions, right?
Yep.
And part of it was like, I was afraid of hurting people's feelings. I was afraid of offending people. And I was really afraid of making myself look like I was stupid in some way. And those three things really tripped me up. I really always I'm not worried about, hurting people's feelings anymore, because I feel like I'm pretty conscious about that. But I'll tell you, improv helped me build self-trust, which is to say, like, I know I can show up in a moment and be appropriate and kind and thoughtful. And I'm not going to be perfect at it, but I'm going to be funny sometimes and I'm going to suck sometimes. I mean, it was just like a total door opened for me. So
it was huge for me too. And I know I haven't let go of all my fears, and some of the fears that I think I've broken up with, they come knocking at my door occasionally again, sometimes. So for me, improv is incredible. And part of it, I don't know if it happened just with improv, but a combination of things. And part of it was that lack of competitiveness as well, because improv, I think that's probably part of it. The nature of improv is not, I'm competing with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's how can I make you look great?
Yes.
And that was because I wanted to win every race as a kid. I wanted to be great in basketball or baseball or whatever, the ping pong, whatever thing I was doing.
Well, you were very athletic too, right? Like you grew up in an athletic culture.
Oh, I was competing all the time and I wanted to win. And I was always comparing myself to other people. Hey, I'm better than them, or I'm not as good as them, or I'm equal to them. So I was constantly comparing. And for you, and I'll ask you this for you, comparison, when you compare yourself to someone else, how do you feel in your body when you do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd love to see some of the responses you get in your comments, because until this conversation, Chris, I honestly I don't really acknowledge my competitive side very much.
Oh, you're competitive.
I am competitive, and
Yeah.
it's okay to be competitive,
Yes.
right? But to be competitive with other people, like the comparison is a form of competition. To your point, it's like, am I better or worse? And that was always running in my head. I mean, and that's comes from a very insecure place, right? So improv, I would say, it was like overcoming insecurity, breaking through fear, learning that we're all on the same team. It was so magical, and it completely changed my life. And so like I said before, the second I feel fear about something, not like jumping into the San Diego Tiger Zoo area, right?
You're not going to jump into the tiger area?
But when I start to feel really comfortable now in my zone,
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that it's time to take a risk. It's time to do something or say something or try something that will bring me back out of that comfort zone. Because now it's like almost addictive to build that muscle, to keep building that. Like, I feel fear, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You're not stopping me, like, I ain't stopping now. Are you kidding?
Like when I created the channel, And I did it in a big way through the last couple of weeks, and have it now on YouTube will happen, on Facebook.
Hey, what's your channel name on YouTube?
Breaking Up with Fear. You know, it won't have that official thing until I think I reach a certain amount of subscribers, but that's,
Right.
you can search it there. There's no video posted as of right now. This is the first video that actually going live. I shot video of my mom and dad the other day, you know, some of the fears they've broken up with. But I want to go back to a second I am still super competitive. I'm just not as attached to the results. You know, I play full out. I want to win every basketball game I play in. But I'm just not as attached to the results as much anymore. And I still love the other team when I do it. And I love myself and not as hard on myself when I lose.
See, that's a big part of what we're talking about too, overcoming fear, right? It's not being hard on yourself. When you can overcome that and you can be more compassionate to yourself, that's really liberating. That's when you can just suck it.
Well, I'll tell another story later.
Who cares? You're just like, I'll be like, oh, honey, I love you. It's all good. You know, you can do that for yourself.
Yeah, I'll tell another story later. I didn't think I could survive certain events that I've survived. So I'll tell my fear in speaking, my fear in saying hi to someone, my fear in all kinds of things, my fear in making a simple mistake. I've had all kinds of fears that I've let go of in various ways, and some of them are still knocking at my door, and some of them are playing a little bit. But in this coronavirus crisis or situation or blessing or whoever you want to call it, and it's certainly not a blessing for people that are dying in your life. That's a time to look. You can look at yourself and reflect, and maybe drop even the fear of death. I haven't dropped it fully, I know that, but it's certainly not as prevalent in my life.
Yeah.
So that's powerful for me.
Yeah, overcoming fear is, and here's the thing, I think we've talked about this before. I'm not one to say, I don't talk about being fearless. I really am a proponent of, if you have fear, just do it. Like, I always kind of go, so to fear, like, and so,
right.
Like,
I don't talk about, sometimes I've talked about being fearless. I think it'd be kind of cool, but also fearless could be negative. I do these crazy thought experiments. What if life had no fear to it? You just walked around, it would be more freeing for sure. So I'm all for having less fear for sure. But why do people go to scary movies? Why do people love scary roller coasters or things that you feel more alive actually when there's a fear to it? And
to your point, maybe going to a scary movie is kind of a way to get over a fear, right? They're just like, maybe that's how some people, I never thought about that. It's a cool thought.
Well,
hey, Richard said hello to us.
Well, hello, Richard.
Hi, nice. Richard.
I'm not even looking I cannot double task like that. I'd have to someone calling out the comments.
That's why I was like, oh, fun. We have someone that's watching.
And it's okay if you're not watching this. This is going to be recorded. And I hope you take something valuable about it. For me, I think one of the little things is that just because you have a fear of something now doesn't mean you always have to have it. And bringing awareness to my life made a lot of difference. And improv helped do that over and over again. So if you can take a step over and over again, and the other thing improv did is add a group of people all moving in the same direction, all supporting each other. And it created some absolute magic.
Yeah, that improv experience created a sense of belonging, like I said before, a sense of belonging that I had never experienced. And I thought, you know what, if we could go every day throughout our lives with this ability to connect and celebrate each other, even when we suck at something, right? And still get back up and get on that stage, whatever stage it is, and show up and be present and yes and each other, which is really just about acceptance in life. We got this. And
absolutely.
Your fear just gets its ass up on stage with you. Like, yeah, you're coming with me.
Yeah, you and I both teach improv, and I've been lucky. We teach it in corporate settings. We teach it to the San Diego Alzheimer's Association, which
just Alzheimer's San Diego.
Oh, Alzheimer's San Diego.
We always get this wrong, but we're getting this.
Sorry, Amy.
Sorry, Amy.
Amy Abrams is awesome. She's a hero in my life to make that possible for me to give back. And I think we've done it almost 10 times or around 10 times.
Yeah, we've done it almost 5 years now. We work with Amy through the Alzheimer's San Diego, and we've developed programs that help caregivers and the staff that helps organizations that support patients with memory loss to use improv as a communication tool to ease stress, to help just communicate better with folks who are
To
going through
connect
memory
more
loss.
with their loved ones. Yeah. And instead of fighting each other about whether it's 1950, finding a song together that they love in 1950, or celebrating and hearing a story in a way that you've never heard before. Because I know sometimes we hear the same story again and again.
Yeah.
But there's so much way to connect with our people instead of disconnect. And that's been a powerful lesson in my life, because I've been disconnecting from people my whole life, not on purpose, but I have. Well, sometimes on purpose, I'm sure. But again, that's so improv I've shared with corporations for innovation, for connection, for communication. In a lot of the leaders I've worked with go home and say, I'm going to use this with my family.
That's one of the biggest takeaways, I think, from improv. It's not funny is people go home and the first thing they're like, oh my gosh, this would work with my husband or my wife or my kids. And oh my gosh. And that's where I've seen some huge breakthroughs. So, yeah.
Well, any final thoughts for people out there, breaking up with some fear? It keeps knocking at their door. They keep inviting it in. How do you break up with, let's give them one little tip to go on.
Yeah, I would just say when you have a fear come up, looking at it as a monster and something that you should, be afraid of. Who said the quote, the only thing to fear about fear is fear itself. It's
Franklin
if we look
Delano
at
Roosevelt.
It's one of my favorite quotes. When we look at fear and we're afraid of our fear, that causes more problems than looking at the fear and saying, what? Yeah. Right? Like, what you got? Okay. And
what you got?
What you got. And whatever the fear is, be smart about it, but go do whatever you feel afraid of. I like to think of fear as speed bumps rather than stop signs. Maybe they're just alerting me to something I need to look at a little deeper, maybe take a pause, breathe, go a little slower, and that's okay. But very rarely are our fears stop signs. And to learn how to discern, what the difference is, and then just go slow over that speed bump. You don't have to fly through it or crush it. You can go slow at your own pace, but the point is just to go do it.
Yeah, I would even say go together with someone, because the power of going with someone else. That's my tip for today on that. Go with someone else. That's what improv was for me. I couldn't have done those things on my own with all those other people, without those other people supporting me and laughing with me, and sometimes at me, but in a way that was not, haha, you can't do it. We all have failed in that way. It was because we went together. That was the way I could do it. I can imagine going, okay, I'm going to take this home study improv course, and I'm going to keep getting up over and over again. I can't imagine being successful that way. It was because we went together that helped me drop these particular fears. Thank you, Vanessa. Anything you want to share to connect you? How do people find you and play with you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So you can go to my website, Vanessa Elle Wilde. There it will connect you with my training programs through improv. It'll connect you with my YouTube channel, and it will also connect you with my new podcast called Blooped, where I tell stories about people who escaped from religious cults and other oppressive situations and really dared to create a life on their own terms. So again, VanessaElleWilde.com. Check out my work. Yep. My last name is spelled with an E. So Vanessa Elle Wilde.
WILDE.
Yes, VanessaElleWilde.com. Check it out, and that will kind of send you in the right direction.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for being here. I love these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
And, I can, just talking about it, I hope people, if anyone comes across this video, I hope it helps you drop some fears, or even take just a small step towards dropping some fears.
And contact us. We're here. We do this for fun, and we practice this every day, and we'd love to, both of us, do all kinds of cool work in this area. So
yeah. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you all out there for watching. Love you all. Thanks.